Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. This week we bring in Liran. How you doing, Liran?
Doing well, thank you.
Excellent. Do you want to give us a little bit of background on yourself?
Sure. So I've been selling on Amazon since the end of 2014. And sometime around the middle of 2015, I sort of started focusing really on private label. I started on Amazon with, like arbitrage and wholesale, and then, switched over my business to private label entirely. I've created a 7-figure brand, and I run a couple different brands on Amazon, and I also help other sellers succeed with private label.
Fantastic. Okay, so today we're going to speak about lightning deals, and it's pretty good because obviously Q4 is just around the corner and you've got a load of hacks. So let's get straight into the program. So let's start with what kind of products are the best type of products to use for lightning deals?
Sure. So in my mind, you want to run lightning deals on products that have more of a general mass appeal. Because I'll give you an example. So my wife went to in the U.S. I think you have it in Europe also. Old Navy. This past weekend, she sends me a text message. Hey, they have lightning cords for like $3. Should I buy some? Right. So I said, yeah, buy a few. Keep them around the house, right? Because they always seem to break. And that was like a deal. It was an impulse buy, and it was kind of like a lightning deal, right? Something in front of her. That was a deal. But if they had a sale on dog crates, right? A lot of people will probably pass by and not buy it because you not only need to be a dog person, you need have a dog, but you need to be training and you need to be doing crate training, right? So it's not going to be the type of ideal product to necessarily run a lightning deal on because not necessarily a lot of people can use it right at this moment. So you generally want to run lightning deals on products that will have more of an appeal, and also if you think about some seasonal products at the right seasonal time. So for example, if I'm selling a shovel to clean snow, then August is probably not the best time to run a lightning deal on it. But if it's November and December, I live in New York City. We start to get snow sometime late November or December. That's a timely thing where I might say, hey, I might have one, but hey, let me get an extra one. It's on a lightning deal, especially with that type of product because when it starts snowing in New York, they run out of stock in all the local stores really quickly. And so you want to go for products that have mass appeal. And then we could talk a little bit later as far as like optimizing, kind of looking at your product portfolio and deciding which ones are best.
Sounds good. And so with that in mind, I mean, obviously we're looking at ubiquitous products. What kind of product, is there anything you can reveal, like products you have tested, which you definitely should avoid? I know that you can't always reveal stuff, or give us some examples that do not ever do lightning deals on this kind of product,
Well, it's funny because I spoke to the Amazon, the person who runs Amazon deals last week. I actually got to spend some time with them. And, they're not allowed to run lightning deals for spinners. In fact, if they see them, they have to knock them down. And so, there's, products that have any potential, obviously safety issues, things like that are ones you don't want to run. But, I've had, failed products that I've launched via private label, and even lightning deals couldn't sort of revive those products. An example would be like, baby moccasins, right? Again, not a product that might have mass appeal. And so probably not an ideal product for lightning deals.
Superb. Okay, what about optimizing your time? Because obviously this is very, very key. There's only going to be so many eyeballs at certain times of the day, and you don't want to end up with a graveyard shift. What's the best way to optimize your times, and what are the best times of day generically? I know products differ, but...
Right. Yeah, so I definitely don't like to get a lightning deal at night. If I do, I try to cancel it super quickly and then, try again. I'll typically get a different spot. One of the hacks or one of the things that you can do, and we'll talk, we'll kind of talk about this, but one of the things you can do is you can have a couple windows open, 2-3 windows open, hit, the confirm button, almost one after the other, and try to get that time slot that you want. I like a time slot that I can kind of hit on, at least in the US, that I can hit on, a decent time for the West Coast and a good time for the East Coast. So if it's if it starts at 12 p.m., let's say on the West Coast, then it's 3 o'clock on the East Coast, and then it'll run for 6 hours, let's say. So it'll end at 9 p.m. on the East Coast and like 6 p.m. on the West Coast, and you're kind of hitting people's lunch hour, people when they get home from work on the East Coast. So you're kind of hitting on some good time. So I mean, I generally find anytime during the day or even evening is pretty good. And yeah, I'll cancel deals that will pop up at night.
Cool. And what about with regards to multiple lightning deals? You just mentioned that. Is there a strategy that you would use to say, look, if it's a good week and it's like Q4 and you're struggling with, say, your PPC, etc., is it worth trying to do multiple lightning deals one after another, like program them in with your hacks?
Yeah, you could do that. And, the first time I sort of discovered this or thought about this is if you have the Keepa extension on Amazon, you can go to keepa.com, Keepa. If you don't have it, it's a free Chrome extension. It gives you a lot of data when you're looking at your own ASINs and also other people's ASINs. And it's right on the Amazon page. And one of the things that shows you there now is in red, a little dot that shows you when somebody ran a lightning deal. And I'm looking at this person's account, and I literally see a red dot like every single day over the course of like 2 weeks. They've been running lightning deal. Well, according to Amazon systems, it's impossible because you can only run a lightning deal, like over the course of a week, once a week, and then you get the next date. But if you, again, open up, 7, 8, 9, 10 windows at one time and hit get it all ready, set up with the product, and just hit confirm one after the other, you can actually get multiple lightning deals in the same week. So, yeah, I mean, especially if it's, profitable for you and, you want to boost your sales and generate that, scarcity, because, I mean, it's one of the only true scarcity options you have on Amazon. You have, one thing you could do is, and you could do this, you can hold your inventory and actually through a multi-channel fulfillment order, you can hold back inventory and have it show only 17 units left in stock.
Actually, let's break that down. Walk through that for the users. I understand what it is, but for the audience, make that clear. So if they went through that process, what would you do to set that up?
Yeah, so you can create sort of a artificial scarcity in your Seller Central account. The way you would do it is if you go to your inventory, you select an item, one of the drop-down items in there will be create a fulfillment order, which is what you typically do if you have a Shopify, it does it automatically, or if you need to send out an extra unit to a customer. Well, one of the options there, after you put in the name and address, when you're creating that fulfillment order and you're putting in the amount of units, so let's say you have 250 units in stock, you might put 225 units or 240 units. And then instead of doing ship to customer, there's going to be a little radio button there where you can click hold inventory for up to 2 weeks. And what that will do is it will hold that inventory away from what's actually in stock. And so if you have 250 units and you do it for 240, it'll show 10 units in stock. Obviously, you need to monitor this because once you sell those 10, you won't have any units to sell. So you need to monitor and kind of play with it if you want to do it on an ongoing basis. But you can sort of create that scarcity where somebody sees, oh, only 10 units left in stock, I'm going to buy. So that's one form of scarcity that you can utilize on Amazon. The second form is through a lightning deal, which shows you, and we could talk about another within the lightning deal, another scarcity tactic, but just put myself on do not disturb. Okay, so one of the things that you can that's my VA, by the way. One of the things that you could do there is with the lightning deal is obviously there's a countdown timer, right? That says only a certain amount of time, so that's scarcity. And one of the things you could do when you set up a lightning deal is, let's say Amazon tells you the minimum units you need to have in place are 20, but you have 1,000 units in stock. So you initially set it up putting only 20 units for the lightning deal, and then when the lightning deal starts running and one person buys it, well, it'll already show 5% claimed, right? So the higher that claim number, again, that's another influential tool called social proof. And so during the lightning deal, you can actually increase the amount of units you make available. And so you can, if you are there and able to monitor it and be there during the lightning deal, you're actually able to increase the amount of units you make available so that you can, have those units available for sale, but also have that, artificial, social proof that's there for a percentage claim, because that's just going to get more people interested if other people are buying it, as opposed to making 1,000 units available. Somebody buys one, and then it's only the it's 1% of the deal, right? So you want to, or 0.1% of the deal, right? 1 out of 1,000. So so those are some things you could do within the the lightning deals to sort of create some scarcity.
Fantastic. And what about doubling down on this? Because obviously not all lightning deals take off, and sometimes you can stimulate this. Talk me through a process of sending outside traffic, for instance, to a lightning deal.
Yeah. So, if you're choosing your products, one strategy is to choose the products that are already getting a decent amount of traffic from within Amazon that you're sending sponsored ads traffic to, because in theory, you should be converting at a much higher rate when you have that lightning deal going. The better your traffic to that product is, the more likely you are to get better placement within the Amazon Deals page. Right now, the Amazon Deals pages are just flooded with tons and tons of pages of lightning deals, deals of the day, and something called best deals, with which certain sellers have access to. And so you want to get better placement. So one way to get better placement, for example, is if you've had a product in the past that has done well in a lightning deal, that's taken into account in the algorithm, and you're likely to get better placement. Another aspect is traffic to the listing. So if you're not getting a lot of traffic from within Amazon already, you want to drive outside traffic to that listing that will improve the score of that lightning deal and give you better placement among the deals pages for customers to discover it. And this one is not one that I have from within Amazon, but I bet that another part of the algorithm is the percentage off, right? So the minimum percentage off that a lightning deal has to be is 20% off your last 30 days, and it has to at least equal the lowest price for 2017. So I imagine if you're running 35%, 40%, if you're running higher percentages, you're probably likely to get better placement also on the deals page. You have to kind of think about, well, what would Amazon want, right? And then, or what would somebody who is an engineer sort of creating this, what would they want, right? So Amazon wants outside traffic. It's potentially new customers, new Prime customers, better prices, right? Products that have, good reviews, products that are already getting traffic within Amazon. All these things you have to kind of factor in what Amazon wants. And then these are the things you should focus on to get, better placement among the deals page.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing as well is that Amazon will select, in terms of the algorithm, determine whether to offer you a lightning deal or not. Other than your inside contacts at Amazon, are there ways of hacking to get put forward for a lightning deal?
Yeah. So there's a couple ways to do it. So one way, which doesn't always work, but you can try, it will show your product, but you can't always submit it, which is, let's say you have a recommended product and you click on it within the Lightning Deals dashboard. In the URL, you'll see the SKU. The last thing in that URL will be the SKU of that product. Well, you can take that SKU and change it to a product that doesn't show there within the Lightning Deals dashboard. Sometimes you'll be able to submit it. Sometimes it will say this product is not eligible for Lightning Deals. Now, there's also reasons that sometimes products get flagged for not being able to submit them, and then you can actually email the deals team to try to get them unflagged. So, as an example, let's say you have a glass like wine decanter or something, right? But you have the word alcohol in your title. That might be a flag for, Amazon doesn't want any kind of controversial products, right? So alcohol may be a controversial word. That might not display, but you're not selling alcohol, right? So you might be able to email the deals team, which I think is like FBA-deals@Amazon.com, and ask them, hey, can you look at this product and see if it's being flagged for not being able to submit a lightning deal, but can you do anything to make it show up on my recommended list? So there are sometimes reasons product get flagged and for the wrong reason, and you're not seeing them on the recommended list, and you can get them to show either through a hack or through emailing Amazon.
Cool. So trying to round it off this section, a couple of more questions I have on these points here. So let's look at the whys of a lightning deal. What are the benefits? So we've spoke through a lot of hacks. We understand that people do lightning deals, but let's look at the whys. What are the real benefits of lightning deals, and what kind of improvements have you seen in terms of rank, etc.? What's your take on this?
So whenever you can generate a lot of sales on Amazon for your product, it's always a good thing. It's not like, if you have a website and you have your product there, it's totally a different ballgame than on Amazon, right? Because we know on Amazon that sales velocity helps with your organic ranking. We know that increased sales is, people talk about, how do you get reviews? Well, the best way to get a ton of reviews is to generate a ton of sales, right? So even if you're generating, let's say your lightning deal is just break even, right? Especially with you talking about like Cyber Monday or Black Friday where you have a $500 fee. Let's say you just break even. It's still good, because you're generating additional sales, you're going to generate additional revenue, and you should expect to have a halo effect for sometime after that should get, boost your rankings and help you increase your sales for that product. And so anytime you can get an edge over your competition with, increased velocity, that's really what Amazon wants. And again, if you have a good product, then, hopefully you get some more reviews after you sell a lot of units. And again, that should also help with improved conversions later on after the lightning deal has happened. So what you want to do is you also don't necessarily want to offer every single unit of your product available necessarily for a lightning deal, because you want to be able to take advantage of that halo effect. So, if you have 1,000 units in stock, then, maybe offer 200 or 300 for the lightning deal so that you can capitalize on the additional sales, and maybe even at a higher price after the lightning deal has taken place. I'll just add one of the tools that I use is from Splitly. They have within that Splitly tool, they have something called Profit Peak, which takes into account your velocity and demand for a product to increase the price or decrease the price. If you're running a lightning deal, I turn that off because I don't want that fake velocity from a lightning deal just to increase my price. But I run that all the time, and as my product gets more demand, my prices are increasing. And so that's something you could take advantage of after a lightning deal as you start to get, additional traffic to that listing. And then if you run a lightning deal again in the future on that product, again, within the algorithm, if you had a successful lightning deal, you'll probably get better placement in the future. One thing to be aware of, some people have a strategy of, when they launch a product, starting off their price really, really low. If you do utilize that strategy, just realize that that's going to hurt your ability to price, maybe at a profitable price for a lightning deal, because, lightning deals need to be 20% off the last 30 days and also the lowest price for 2017. So if you launched a product and did it that way, it's going to impact your ability to run maybe at a price that you want for a lightning deal.
Okay, so for an example, we couldn't, say for instance, we were doing 90% off running external traffic. We wouldn't be able to, after a couple of months, then run a lightning deal on that to stimulate, or? No,
you would because that's through a coupon code.
Yeah.
So that's through a single use coupon code, so that's fine. Yeah. So if you're running those 90% off offers, it's not going to affect anything.
Yeah.
But some people have a strategy for when they launch a product to just they'll just start at a really low price.
Yeah.
And so that will impact, but coupon codes will not impact the price at which you can it's not counted into the price.
Yeah.
For lightning deal offers.
And also, have you got any tips on, like, you want to clear stock and you're available for a lightning deal? Is there any little hacks that you use there? Because that's another way of getting rid of items. If you got end of line and you're updating the product, for instance. I know you're not meant to change your images and keep the same listings if you do updates, but right. You know where I'm coming from.
Right. Yeah. So I've done. Actually, I ran we could talk about a few things and how to take advantage of it. So I have kind of a line of products, and one of them was kind of a slow seller, but I had a lightning deal on it for Prime Day, and it sold out. And I was very happy because I wasn't going to necessarily replenish this product, but I was very happy that it sold out. And so I ran a lightning deal. Some things that you can do to sort of capitalize on that. One, maybe in your bullet points, you have end of season, limited quantity, available at this price or something within your bullet points. So that kind of maybe can help one justify why it's a low price and that it's still a good quality product and get people to buy, like limited stock left. And also what I did with that product is because I had some similar products within the line, after the Prime Day deal, I started getting a bunch of reviews in, but I was out of stock. I added that listing as a child variation on my other similar listings. The child variation doesn't show up, but all the reviews from that product moved over to another one. So it's like I ran the lightning deal, I got rid of the product, but there were sort of some benefits that I was able to extract, from that sort of product that was just a slow seller, and I didn't want to keep it. So I got really good reviews on it, bunch of reviews after the lightning deal, and then just moved those reviews over to another product, which is always always good if you could do it, and if the text in the reviews kind of makes sense.
Cool. And what about one thing I think a lot of people miss out on? You'd be maybe not surprised because you deal with a lot of Amazon sellers, but calculating your cost of goods and your profit margins in terms of doing giveaways. I think that's the biggest failure because there's so many moving parts with this, with all the discount codes and whatever's going on. Do you have a little rule of thumb for people to simplify the process that they can do for getting that rule of thumb together for calculating what they need for their break-even point and whether a campaign is successful in terms of doing a lightning deal?
Yeah, so I think the first question you want to ask yourself is, what is my goal with this lightning deal, right? And kind of know that goal. And it's the same thing with PPC, and it's the same thing with a lot of things that you do at Amazon. Ask yourself what your goal is. Is your goal to generate rank? Is your goal to just get reviews? Is it a product that's kind of more mature product that you just want to make profit on? Is it, a product you want to move? What's your outcome out of that lightning deal? And yeah, when you're on the lightning deals page, it shows you what your price is going to be. Go to the FBA calculator, and put that price in and see what your actual net result is. Take into account what the lightning deal fee that you're paying. And then you can kind of get a better idea of, okay, what's my cost of goods and what's my actual, profit on this item. I use Fetcher, the tool Fetcher.com. I use that tool, and it takes into account promotions and PPC spend. And I get an email, and I put in obviously my cost of goods into that tool, and I get an email every day that shows me my last 1 day of profitability or profit loss, my past 7 days and my past 30 days. So I'm kind of always looking and seeing how am I doing. And again, for me, running a lightning deal, I want to be profitable on it, but if I also will run them just to move product and generate rank. And then if I do that, I'm not necessarily putting all my units available. I'm putting some to get that boost and edge and reviews. So you kind of have to consider, what is your strategy with the product? How many units do you have? How many do you want to make available? All these things should be factors. And now is a good time to look at all this stuff, because October 16th, at least in the U.S. market, Amazon.com, October 16th is the deadline to submit deals for Black Friday week or Cyber Monday week. So it's a good time to kind of look at your lightning deals dashboard and look at your recommendations.